Welcome to our Introduction to Person-Centered Planning Life Course Tools introductory session. This session will give you a basic overview of what person-centered planning, or PCP, is, and identify some of the most common PCP tools that have been used. This introduction will prepare you for the live virtual session that you have registered for. During the live session, we will dive more deeply into Life Course. Charting the Life Course is designed to be used for your own life, for your family members, or in the work that you do. The framework and tools will help you organize your ideas, vision, and goals, as well as problem solve, navigate, and advocate for supports. Connecticut has collaborated with the University of Missouri, the authors of this framework, to bring this person-centered framework to our families and educators in Connecticut. As you can see from our cover slide, this presentation represents a collaboration between the Connecticut State Department of Education, all 6 regional educational service centers, ACES, CES, CREC, EastCon, EdAdvance, Learn, and the State Education Resource Center, known as SERC. The developers of Life Course came to Connecticut to train a group of ambassadors that can then lead families, students, and educators in the rich discussions needed to achieve and maintain their goals. The individuals listed here are just some of the ambassadors that will be facilitating the live virtual sessions. During this short person-centered planning introductory session, we will share the definition of person-centered planning and the purpose and/or goal for conducting a PCP session. We will review a variety of person-centered planning options available to support an individual's specific needs. Finally, we will give you a brief introduction of what will be covered within the live virtual session. Person-centered planning is not just for school-aged individuals. There are person-centered planning options designed to work across the entire lifespan of an individual. Our focus with this introduction and the live virtual session will be supporting school-aged children with developing their visions for a good life. PCP is a set of approaches for discovering what is important to a student. According to the National Center on Secondary Education and Transition, person-centered planning process can strengthen the transition to post-school activities through the following. By enhancing the quality of assessment and planning activities for both high school transition services and adult service agencies serving youth with disabilities. By fostering positive working relationships between families and professionals. By providing a way for educators and case managers from other agencies to better coordinate their services. By connecting families to adult service agencies before a student leaves high school. By helping to ensure that services support the youth's goals and lead to successful outcomes. By helping identify and cultivate natural supports in the community. This slide has been borrowed from NTACT, the National Technical Assistance Center on Transition. Person-centered planning is a process that helps students with disabilities plan for their future while also promoting self-determination and self-advocacy skills. PCP focuses on building a student's strengths and interest, a major goal being to help the student feel empowered as an equal partner in planning the services they need. To determine what services are needed then, the PCP process needs to focus on helping the student understand what their vision for their life is. Person-centered planning is a constellation of tools. Forrest, Pearpoint, and O'Brien believe that the choice of a method is more like choosing a musical instrument than it is like selecting a hammer or a screwdriver from a toolbox. There is no right or wrong process. It's important to select the option that will work best for the individual. There may be occasions where you are using one process, Life Course for example, and a team decides that a larger team is needed to address a certain issue, so the team may decide to use a MAPS or PATH process to focus on a student's employment interest. We have pulled out a selection of person-centered planning options to review with you. Your district may utilize a certain process. We just want to caution you that another option may be needed depending on a student's needs. This will just be an overview of person-centered options available through the years. You may decide to investigate any of the options in more depth. Several distinct approaches to person-centered planning have been developed over the years. Each tool has been built upon the following foundations. Person-centered planning is a means for uncovering what is already there, the essence and extraordinary gifts and capacities of a person. It assumes that the person and those who love the person are the primary authorities on the person's life direction. As such, the person is the driver of the process. It is the beginning of the journey of ongoing learning through the shared action that results from participation in planning and working together. It intends to shatter myths about people who have been given disability labels and to foster inclusive communities. It relies on skilled facilitation in developing and moving the plan forward. It requires systems to respond in flexible and meaningful ways relative to the unique interests and needs of the focus person. Individual service design, developed by Yates, focuses on reviewing personal history and comparing and contrasting experiences with other populations, groups, and individuals. It's useful in guiding service providers towards a deeper understanding of the focus person's experience and thus building empathy. You will find each of these areas: self-determination, direction, money, home, support, and community life addressed throughout the other PCP options that we will share. Personal Futures Planning, PFP. Personal Futures Planning, developed by Beth Mount, contains a series of tasks designed to help find capacities in individuals, identify options in their communities, and develop supports and services that will meet each individual's strengths and needs. The individual visual maps and graphics are designed for each of these areas. Circles of support is a mechanism for building a circle around the individual to improve the individual's quality of life. Generally, the circle is comprised of individuals who are not paid to assist or work with the person. It includes 4 steps which begin with a vision of what the individual wants to accomplish and ends with connections in the person's community and life. Circle of Friends, developed by Robert Persky, is a similar method. This concept serves as an important perspective in person-centered planning. Each of us has a circle and networks of support. Think about the people in your circles. Now think about a student, family member, or individual receiving DDS services. What do you think their circles look like? Keep these circles in mind when planning for enrichment and enhancing connections and quality of life planning. Essential Life Planning, ELP, was developed by Michael Small, and it looks at the essential quality of life components. It explores how a person wants to live and find ways to make it happen. The process includes a learning wheel which guides those involved in planning. The heart of the process is listening to and understanding the individual. Planning for the Future, developed by Dr. Mary Morningstar, is a workbook to help students, their families, and professionals plan for a student's life after high school. This workbook uses a person-centered approach to identify student strengths and facilitates a problem-solving approach to develop a plan of action and a vision for the future. This workbook is free and available at the URL address on your screen. Renew: Resilience, Empowerment, and Natural Supports for Education and Work. Renew, developed by the University of New Hampshire Institute on Disability, is a structured school-to-career transition planning and individualized wraparound process for youth with emotional and behavioral challenges. The model focuses on supporting each youth to design and pursue a plan for the transition from school to adult life. Renew has substantially increased the high school completion, employment, and post-secondary education participation rates among our most vulnerable youth. Renew uses personal futures planning to support individual students with developing their personal goals. Making Action Plans, or MAPS, was developed by Marcia Forrest and Evelyn Lusthos. It's a person-centered planning approach that asks 8 guiding questions from which a team works together to assist individuals with defining their dream and building a plan to achieve their dream. Key questions address the individual's history, dream, nightmare, strengths, and needs. The process culminates with a plan of action. MAPS is for threshold moments: entering a new school, graduating, deciding about new roles, dealing with major change in life, getting a new job, etc. Coming together with the student. The student can invite whomever they would like to attend, and typically anyone attending the PPT should be attending as well. Planning Alternative Tomorrows with Hope, or PATH, was developed by John O'Brien, Marcia Forrest, and Jack Pearpoint, and it begins with the end in mind. The process begins by looking at the desired outcome, also known as the North Star. The process focuses on ideals, values, passions, and dreams. It looks at the positive and engages the support of others. Those involved in planning with the individual work backward into the present. For more information, you can watch the video linked on this slide. Circles facilitates and enhances interagency collaboration. Although post-school outcomes for students with disabilities have improved in the past 10 years, students with disabilities still consistently experience poor outcomes in the areas of education, employment, and independent living when compared to their peers without disabilities. Circles, developed by the University of North Carolina, Charlotte, is a transition planning service delivery model designed to guide schools in implementing interagency collaboration at 3 teams, including community level team, school level team, and the IEP team, with a focus on student involvement and leadership throughout the process. Charting the Life Course Framework, developed by the University of Missouri, Kansas City, was created to help individuals and families of all abilities and all ages develop a vision for a good life. Think about what they need to know and do, identify how to find or develop supports, and discover what it takes to live the lives they want to live. The framework is the keystone for supporting a community of learning that champions transformational change through knowledge exchange, capacity building, and collaborative engagement. The core belief is that all people have the right to live, love, work, play, and pursue their own life aspirations. The exploring and planning trajectory. To create a vision for your good life, this trajectory tool provides space to explore the things going well in your life or the things that are stopping you from reaching your good life. We will be exploring this tool along with the other tools that create the Life Course framework during the live virtual session. What we will be discussing during the virtual session is that Life Course is not about the tools. Life Course is about the discussions we have between families, students, educators, and community members to build the high expectations of each individual. There are excellent tools that will help you with creating the visuals and organizing the structure of the process. Thank you for viewing our person-centered planning introductory session in preparation for the live virtual session that you have registered for. To help your presenter drive the focus of your upcoming live session, please complete the person-centered planning intro session exit ticket by accessing the link on the slide.